Hello and welcome back to the Alchemical Arts. As you can see, I'm out here in the garden, and that's because I've just begun my new sort of foray into making my own lake pigments from plants that I grow myself. So I've decided to settle in on three sort of classic plants for making dyes and lake pigments from, and trying to see if I can grow them myself over this next summer. And some of them I'll be able to harvest at the end of the summer. Others, it's just the beginning of a much longer term project, and it should be interesting. And if I can get to this point where I can produce my own plant material for my own lake pigments, I will be absolutely wrapped. That'll be a really wonderful place to get to. So let's show you what I've got and what I've started with. So here we have some Weld plants. So these are some seedlings that I managed to get from a local supplier. So I've got one little Weld seedling here, I've got another one further over in the garden bed there, and I have another one here in a pot. As you can see, when I did the transplant, a lot of leaves ended up dying off. I think Weld is particularly sensitive to transplanting. So it was a bit of a gamble, but the ones in the ground seem to be doing reasonably well. So Weld produces a yellow lake pigment. It's actually very similar to the compound that's in the pomegranate for the pomegranate lake that I made. And so if you want, you can check the description of this video and go look at that video where I made an extraction from pomegranate skins. And so the Weld plant should take somewhere around, well, it's a biennial, so it'll grow up this year and then die off over winter, and then in the second year it'll grow back up again and then flower and then die. And so I think the optimal harvest point is just before it flowers in the second year. You harvest all the vegetable material, the leaves and so forth, and you use that to make your lake pigment from. So I'm going to probably grow some of these out as seed stock for future Weld crops, and also harvest some of it to test for its colouring material. So let's head inside to my seed raising area and we'll have a look at some of the other things. So in this front little seedling tray here, I have some Woad seedlings, and in the second little seedling tray here we have some madder seedlings, which is quite exciting that these are just coming up still. As you can see here, there's one that's yet to break the surface, and these ones are a couple of weeks old and are slowly growing up and will be ready for transplant into the garden. This is the big bag of Woad seeds that I got, which I will actually probably direct sow a lot of these into the garden because it'll just be a more efficient method to direct sow. The madder seedlings I will actually raise up before planting. So Woad, for those of you who don't know, is a European variant or source of indigo, as opposed to the subtropical indigo plant that grows throughout India and stuff like that. So Woad was used, and grown quite extensively, particularly in places like England, and used for its blue cloth dyeing capabilities as a source of indigo. It doesn't have as high an indigo content as true indigo does have, but it again produces such a vast amount of leaf material, and it's like a very prolific growing weed, so it's very much an easy thing to grow and hopefully should produce quite a large amount of indigo for me to use in playing around with different indigo based pigments or lakes and things like that. And as for the madder, well, obviously you know that I've done a fairly large amount of work with madder, and it's going to be a really interesting and rewarding process to try and grow my own and see what that's like. I also have here some madder seedlings that I also bought from a local supplier, which are much older than obviously my own, that are just popping up out of seed. So these will go straight to the ground very soon. They only just came in the mail the other day, and it's quite interesting and exciting to get seedlings in the mail. So with the madder, that's going to be a very long-term project. So usually the madder root isn't harvested until 2 to 3 years after initial sprouting. So we're looking at a fairly long process to get that happening. But I'm hoping to get some started now so that I can see how it works, see how madder grows, what conditions it likes, and so forth. Like, obviously traditionally madder's from Iran and throughout that Middle East region, so it probably likes a drier, sandier soil climate. Probably won't like too much water, and from what I've read, a more alkaline soil condition should yield more coloring material in the roots. So again, after about 2 to 3 years of growing, you would dig up the plants and harvest the root material and use that for your lake making process. So again, I think some of it will get grown up to either be used as a stock for making cuttings so I can make more plants, or let some of it go to seed and see if I can grow more from seed. Because eventually I'd love to have an entire field of madder, woad and weld growing so that I have enough to produce ample pigment on my own terms, which would be great. So anyway, that's just what I thought I'd show everybody today, and I'll have some actual pigment making videos coming up, but this is more just the beginning of a very, very long-term project, and hopefully it can inspire other people to start playing around with making their own color gardens as well, because the more we can locally produce, the better it's going to be, and the more that we can keep these beautiful plants in circulation and alive, and yeah, it should be a good little learning experience. Anyway, that's all for today, and take care, and I'll talk to you all later.